Hello there, beautiful souls. This is Liz Christie. Thank you for tuning into my channel, Galactic Mythology. Here we explore the stars, the myths behind them, and what it all means for us in our daily lives. On this particular podcast, we focus on the asteroid goddesses and how their transits above our heads every single day influence us down here on the face of Mother Gaia. Thus the name Weekend Goddess Report. And this weekend, I will be reporting for the weekend of May 16th through May 19th. Starting our weekend off, we will focus on asteroid goddess Ceres. She is in the sign of Pisces at the critical anaretic degree known as the 29-degree mark of any sign. And it's critical and anaretic because when we are ending a chapter, it is usually a sign of loss. It is also a sign of graduation. We're moving on into different environments. Hopefully one where we've progressed and we can take all that we've learned over the path that made it to this ending into this new beginning. And Ceres will be entering the sign of Aries on Saturday, May 17th. So Friday, enjoy that watery essence, that mothering Ceres essence. However, one thing that I do like to talk about, because I feel like it doesn't get a lot of airtime when discussing the goddess Ceres or Ceres. I seem to always have a difficulty pronouncing her name, and I think it's because asteroid goddess Ceres is akin to Isis. So there's something that is phonetically going on through my understanding of Isis, is why I call Ceres Ceres subconsciously. So now you know. Maybe it will make sense to you after I say what I'm going to say about asteroid goddess Ceres. Ceres. Isis. Isis had to travel to the underworld to find the dismembered parts of her love Osiris after a tragic occurrence happened between Osiris and Set. Set is Saturn in our Western modern pantheon. At least Saturn is akin to Set. Saturn being akin to Set draws us back to this weekend, considering that Ceres, Isis, asteroid goddess Ceres will be at that anaretic ending 29 degrees of Pisces, and Set, Saturn, is also at that anaretic ending degree of Pisces, 29 degrees. Ceres, Isis, I'll stop eventually, but I think you understand, is a goddess of nurturing, yes. She's a goddess of the seasons. She's a goddess of the grain. She's also the mother of the lovely Persephone who brings spring to us every single year. She is also the mother who decides to enforce winter upon the mortals every year due to the sacrifice of her daughter going down to the underworld to spend time with Hades. That is winter. So Ceres has to do with cycles as well as death. She's a goddess of death. Have you seen the symbol for her, the glyph? It's a sickle, which is similar to a scythe, which is starting to run an imagery that we would think of akin to Saturn, right? Saturn being the lord of time and karma, associated with death and the endings of things. You catching my drift? This weekend has a theme of endings. Even though we are in spring in the northern hemisphere, something is personally going to be ending for all of us in our own lives, which will be a subjective experience. Pisces is also a sign all about letting go. Pisces is also a sign of indulgence. This weekend, people might be extra avid to go out and party, to forget about what's really bothering them down beneath the surface. I only air caution for this weekend because there is so much Uranian energy. The sun has been approaching closer and closer to the planet Uranus in Taurus at the 27th degree of the sign. The sun this weekend in Taurus on Saturday will make an exact conjunction to Uranus in Taurus. And I have already spoken at length to asteroid goddess Juno in my past reports, who is in Scorpio and has been making an opposition to the sun for about 2 weeks now. She was actually in opposition to Uranus over the last month, and I would say it's a lot wider of an orb now. So now the focus is really more on the sun and Uranus coming together. But Juno still has a play, okay? Think about the last 4 weeks. In every report, you're going to be asked to reflect. It's a part of astrology, and how we evolve is through reflection. And these symbols in the sky allow us to analyze in a way that ignites our left and right hemispheres of our brains so that we can alchemize an understanding that helps us grow to our higher selves in this lifetime. Asteroid goddess Juno in Scorpio is basically doing exactly what I just ranted on. She wants you to evolve. Okay, so opposing the sun in Taurus, that has to do with our desires, our senses, how we represent ourselves and how we dress ourselves, and how we nurture ourselves. Taurians have good taste in food, in nap hours, in availability. They know how to keep boundaries, and they know how to do it cute. Asteroid goddess Juno in Scorpio doesn't really know how to keep boundaries cute. She has no problem with being a little ugly to reinforce the peace. With that in mind, has the last 4 weeks been a little ugly for you? I know that Scorpio full moon last weekend really kicked a lot of people's butts, including my own. And in last weekend's report, I said it was a great time to gather, which it is. Traditionally, it is a great time to gather under a full moon, considering the light. But something about last weekend's full moon, especially it occurring on Monday, put a damper on the concept of gathering. It didn't stop the gathering from occurring last weekend. I just think people got caught up in the full moon energy that was building through the Libra moon, which is a Venusian ruled moon, which was playing very nicely with the Taurus Venus ruled sun last weekend. As soon as that moon went into Scorpio, things got real. And this weekend, we want to blow that off. I mentioned already with Saturn and Pisces conjunct asteroid goddess Ceres, Isis in Pisces at the 29th degree, starting off the weekend. We are going to be aware of the fact that shit is hitting the fan and that new timelines are starting to emerge. And we are going to have the choice to completely divert or choose consciously to quantum jump, because we have Uranus on our side. The sun will be conjunct Uranus in Taurus, which is about physical life. So let's talk about the moon. Miss Luna. Miss Luna at 12 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, May 16th, 2025, because I report from Portland, Oregon, in the Pacific Northwest of the United States of America. The moon at 12 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on May 16th, 2025, will be in Capricorn, an earth sign. An earth sign that also has a reputation for suppressing its emotions. As that earth sign moon turns into an air sign moon in Aquarius throughout the weekend, on Sunday, May 18th, the moon will come to make a conjunction to Pluto in Aquarius at the 3rd degree of the sign. Before the moon makes that exact conjunction, it will be in a sextile to the freshly ingress Ceres, asteroid goddess Ceres, in Aries at that 0 degree mark, the Aries vortex, a place of 0 point potential. Friday, Saturday, if you want to go indulge, go ahead. Be mindful though, Uranus is sudden surprises. You might injure yourself this weekend if you're not careful. There's a lot of earth in this chart for the weekend. Earth is very much so to do with our physical bodies. Aries, where we currently have Neptune and Venus in, and then we will have Ceres by Saturday, is also to do with the body, the self. So when you're out there having fun, blowing off your underworld shadow work activities, please just slow down and be body conscious if you can. We still have that brat pack of Hecate, Vesta, Lilith, Juno in the sign of Scorpio, and they're just being a peanut gallery at this point. They're not going to help you physically, psychologically. They're basically sitting on your shoulder being observers of you, okay? In the sense that you're probably avoiding that brat pack of Hecate, Vesta, Lilith, and Juno this weekend if you do choose to disassociate. And those gals are keeping tabs, like Santa, but Mrs. Claus in this case. And speaking of Santa, Jupiter in Gemini at the 24th degree throughout the weekend will be receiving an applied trine from his daughter, Pallas Athena, in Aquarius throughout the weekend. By Monday, that trine will be in exact, and the archetypes of Pallas Athena and Jupiter get along. Like I said, Pallas Athena is Jupiter's daughter. Jupiter in Gemini is a little clunky. Pallas Athena in Aquarius is electric. Pallas Athena has to do with strategy, craftsmanship, and intuition. Intuition that allows for alchemy between the spirit and the mundane. Think about a basket. How did our ancestors figure out that they could dry twigs and weave them in a certain pattern to create a basket to hold goods? Intuition. Pallas Athena. Jupiter being uncomfortable in the sign of Gemini is saying, embrace the struggle. Yes, because we grow through struggle. How did our ancestors, bringing back that basket, become motivated to want to create a basket out of twigs? Because there was a need, there was a struggle that was occurring on a mundane level that needed to be cured. And so they used their faculties of imagination to bring down through the ethers that which was invisible into the mundane. Pallas Athena was birthed from Zeus's head. Intuition. Zeus in Gemini. How are our social landscapes shifting? And how are we expanding through that discomfort of change in our community, in change of our surroundings? I don't know if you're in the market for a new car, but this weekend might be a great weekend to invest, oddly enough. Kind of fits that theme of wanting to lose it all, gambling, but loss doesn't necessarily imply an ending. When we make room for things, inevitably nature fills it, whatever it is. This weekend is a stone to be thrown across the pond. We don't know exactly where that stone goes after it skitters across the top of the water. So throughout this weekend, we are that stone skittering atop across the pond. Eventually, because the law of gravity, that stone will sink. And when it sinks, it will see Hecate, Vesta, Lilith, and Juno there because they are in the underworld. And they, like I said, are watching. All right, y'all. I'm going to cut it there because I feel like I was able to say everything I needed. Oh, wait. With the moon moving into Aquarius over the weekend, starting off in Capricorn on Friday and then moving into Aquarius by Sunday, making that conjunction to Pluto, the lord of the underworld, and then making a conjunction to Pallas Athena, the goddess that I have just spoken about, who is a conduit for creative thought and bringing it into our everyday reality. A lot will be happening subconsciously. Things that we will not see are brewing. Bring up that analogy of the stone skipping across the pond. That pond exists for the stone to skip across, but the surface is all we see of that pond. We will be seeing the surface this weekend. We may even be seeing our own reflections and falling in love with them in ways that we've never experienced before. It's healthy to love yourself. We need self-love. Aries is all about healthy self-love. But we don't want to become too extreme this weekend because there is a high probability of arrogance, which we can distill from the things that I've been sharing in this report with the concepts of avoidance and wanting to only focus on the things that we see the light of day in and the things that we see from the surface. Fall in love with yourself, but make sure you're falling in love with your whole self. We are redefining the divine feminine, which I spoke of last weekend. So please go listen to that report to understand what I'm saying better. Top of that, to back that some more, in galactic astrology, we work with black holes, and the galactic center is at the 27th degree of the sign of Sagittarius in galactic astrology. from a Western perspective of galactic astrology. Okay, I studied with Julia Balaz, and I do use tropical zodiac, which we can talk about Vedic and galactic astrology separately, but I am using the tropical with that in mind. 27 degrees of Sagittarius is where the galactic center is in natal charts that I cast and look at. On Saturday, Uranus and the sun will be in a conjunction at the 27th degree of Taurus, which states that sun-Uranus conjunction will be in conjunct the galactic center in Sagittarius. The galactic center is the black hole that our Milky Way galaxy swirls around, thus the galactic center, literally the center of our Milky Way galaxy. And inconjunct means that the sun conjunct Uranus cannot see the galactic center, but it is influencing it nonetheless. The galactic center, being the center of our Milky Way galaxy, is a mother-father balanced energy. The feminine can be redefined this weekend, and it is being supported by an energy that is so much vaster and bigger and way more unknown than anything that we are consciously aware of as the human species. And that is a black hole, a destroyer and a creator. This weekend is all about destruction and creation. Do your best to not 100% lose yourself, even though it is supported. Celebrate the end and celebrate the beginning by respecting your body and respecting your origins and respecting your ancestors. Because if you're listening to this in a fleshy body, it took hundreds of generations and thousands of years to get you to this point where you're listening to my podcast now. And that was all through blood. And that is unavoidable. Do not shy away from where you came from. Do not shy away from your shadow. Give it as much space as it needs to grow alongside with you. Your monster is your gift, okay? So start holding its hand and asking it what it would like to eat. I will leave it there. I love you all. You can connect with me outside of this podcast by booking an astrology consultation with me. I do astrocartography, so if you're wondering what places around the world would suit your personal natal chart and how it would amplify or decrease your life, you can find my astrology offerings on my website, www.galacticmythology.com. I do also offer intuition kits, which are essentially pendulum kits that I handcrafted and designed to help inspire a deeper connection with your higher self. And for you listening to the end, I am offering 20% off my intuition kits with the promo code podcast20, all lowercase, podcast20. So if you would like to use a pendulum in your practice and deepen your connection to self, go ahead on over to galacticmythology.com and don't forget to use promo code podcast20 at checkout to get that 20% off that intuition kit. I love you all. Thank you so much for listening to the end. Please like, comment, and subscribe. It helps the algorithm share my work with the populace at large. I'll talk to you all next weekend. Bye.